Stoicism. Become mentally undefeatable in the ancient Greek city of Cyprus around 300 BC, there lived a wealthy merchant named Zeno. During a journey from Phoenicia to Piraeus, his ship sank, taking all his goods with it. In one unexpected moment, outside of his control, Zeno lost his entire fortune. Imagine yourself in his position. Your life's work disappears in a single event caused by nature. How would you respond? Anger? Sadness? Would you feel life treated you unfairly? For most of us, this response would seem normal. But Zeno, who later became known as the father of Stoicism, reacted differently. A small shift in thinking can shape a lifetime. One change in mindset can create long-term positive transformation. Stoicism is built on acceptance and emotional balance. After studying Socrates and other thinkers, Zeno developed and taught Stoicism. He believed that while we cannot fully control what happens to us, we can control how we respond to it, and we must use that power wisely. Instead of focusing on loss, Zeno managed his emotions, stayed calm, and chose a balanced mindset despite his situation. Modern misunderstandings of Stoicism today. Many assume Stoics are emotionless or unbreakable, people who never show anger or anxiety. But the true idea of Stoicism goes much deeper. It isn't simply about hiding emotions. It is a philosophy for seeing and understanding the world clearly, way of living that has endured for centuries. Stoicism still applies today just as it did thousands of years ago, and its benefits remain powerful. It helps us process difficult feelings from challenging experiences, turning them into lessons and insight. Perspective matters. We all have different experiences, and therefore different viewpoints. Stoicism was for everyone. Stoic thinkers gathered and taught in public spaces, believing their ideas were valuable for all people, not just elites or scholars they did not want. Stoic teachings limited to private schools or royal circles. Anyone, from laborers to rulers, could learn this philosophy, and many did. Among the most famous Stoics were Epictetus, once enslaved, Seneca, a respected statesman, and Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of history's most influential leaders. Early Stoics lived their values, rejecting discrimination and speaking against inequality. They introduced the term cosmopolitan, meaning citizen of the world. Today, we associate it with diverse cities like New York, London, Dubai, and Toronto, a reflection of the unity they envisioned. When Stoicism began, women were often barred from studying philosophy, but Stoics disagreed and believed wisdom was for everyone. Musonius Rufus, the teacher of Epictetus, once said, "Eagerness and a natural desire for virtue do not belong only to men, but to women as well. Women enjoy noble and just actions just as much as men, and they avoid the opposite." If that is true, then why should men be encouraged to study how to live well, to practice philosophy, while women should not? Even during a period when this idea was uncommon, women were welcomed to study Stoicism and become Stoics themselves. Why people embrace Stoicism? So why do so many individuals choose Stoicism as a life practice? In a world filled with unexpected situations, our emotions often interfere with how we respond. In truth, we don't become upset simply because something negative occurs. We feel upset because it happened without warning. Rain, for example, is useful. It waters crops, supports animals, and cools the environment. Yet, when a sudden storm catches you outside without an umbrella, it rarely feels pleasant. But we don't break down crying when rain begins because we expect it. We understand weather can't be controlled. It may be inconvenient, but the rain ends and sunlight returns. Stoicism teaches us to treat life's challenges the same way. Expect difficulties. Imagine the worst possible outcome and accept that it may occur, and you can still be okay. Voluntary discomfort. for mental strength. Stoic practice is known as voluntary discomfort, an exercise designed to build gratitude and resilience. This might include sleeping on the floor, taking cold showers instead of warm ones, or eating simple foods like plain potatoes for a short time. This teaches that even when life becomes hard, you can endure it and possibly even grow from it if your mindset remains strong. By handling uncomfortable situations on purpose, we train our mind to better face real challenges in the future. In today's world, where advertising constantly tells us that happiness depends on new products, appearance, or a certain income level, this lesson matters even more. We come into life knowing very little. We grow up learning from many places, at home, in school, and by paying attention to the world around us. However, these three sources often teach us very different lessons. So the real question becomes, do we need to absorb and follow all of this information? If we blindly take in everything, we may build unrealistic expectations for life, which can leave us frustrated and unfulfilled. That is not a balanced or healthy way to live. Instead, our focus should be on improving ourselves for our own well-being. We should act for our own growth, not to impress others or meet external standards. Whenever we attach outside motives to our actions, disappointment usually follows. Why external happiness doesn't last. Often, we try to fill emotional gaps with external things, spending money on luxury cars, big houses, or even seeking fulfillment through family and status. Sometimes we pursue these goals for how they appear to others, not because they bring inner peace. Stoicism teaches that living this way places our happiness in the hands of outside forces, forces that are unpredictable and temporary. Cars break down. Natural disasters can destroy homes, and relationships do not always last, as rising divorce rates show. Even free things in life have a cost. They take mental energy and space in our lives. Seneca wrote, "Learning to live with less creates room for what truly matters." This philosophy encourages us to value simplicity, clarity, and intention. We should build our happiness on inner qualities, not possessions or status. We must choose to stay calm and collected no matter what circumstances arise. Because while we cannot control most events around us, we always have full control over our response to them. The dichotomy of control, Stoicism's central principle. This is known as the dichotomy of control, the most important idea in Stoic teaching. Epictetus said, "The main task in life is to clearly distinguish what is outside my control and what depends on my own choices." Stoicism teaches that we must separate what we influence from what we cannot change. Our value should come from what we control, not from external forces. Having goals is positive, but collapsing when results don't go our way is, from a Stoic view, unhelpful. For example, creating YouTube videos is certainly easier than ruling Rome, but it still has its challenges. You come up with an idea, research it, adjust it, write a script, record, edit, design a thumbnail, choose a title, and then finally upload. Everything up until the upload button is in your hands. After that, results depend on the algorithm and external factors. Yet many people measure success based solely on views, followers, or subscriber count, metrics mostly outside their control. Stoicism says you should evaluate success based on your effort and discipline, not the outcome. Trust your process. Living with less is a way of freeing yourself from expectations and pressures you unknowingly accept from society. Consider someone who worked hard for 6 months and expects a promotion. He presents his achievements to his boss but does not receive the promotion. Immediately, he assumes he failed. But he doesn't consider that the company may be saving money. Someone else may be more qualified at that moment. Or perhaps the boss simply had a difficult day. Instead of tying his worth to the decision, he could focus on the quality of his work, continue improving, and stay committed. With the right mindset, his goal is not lost, only delayed. Mental reframing is essential. True Stoics do not measure success by financial results but find comfort in being able to live well without excess. The 4 core virtues of Stoicism. Stoicism is guided by 4 main virtues: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom means understanding what is internal and external and choosing your response. As Viktor Frankl wrote, between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies our power to choose. Courage can be summarized as persist and resist. Temperance means moderation, doing more with less. While some chase wealth rankings, Stoics believe true wealth is having what is necessary and then having enough. Justice is the most important virtue. It states that we should not harm others. We exist to support and help one another. Nelson Mandela exemplified this. During his fight against apartheid, he spent 27 years in prison before becoming president of South Africa. Many people expected him to punish those responsible for injustice and his imprisonment, but he chose a different path. During his time in prison, Mandela read Marcus Aurelius and embraced Stoic values. Upon release, instead of seeking revenge, he encouraged reconciliation and rebuilding. He recognized that the past could not be changed, and the priority was shaping a better future. This reflects Stoic practice, focusing on what can be controlled. Modern Stoicism in psychology. In modern psychology, Stoic principles form the basis of therapies like rational, emotive behavioral therapy, REBT, and logotherapy.rebt helps people identify harmful thought patterns that cause emotional difficulties. It encourages examining thoughts logically and replacing unhelpful beliefs with healthier, more constructive ones. Logotherapy is based on the idea that humans are driven by purpose. Even in difficult situations, we can find meaning and fulfillment by identifying our purpose. This takes effort. It requires reshaping how we think and building new mental habits. Old thinking must be replaced with new, healthier perspectives. To improve our relationship with happiness, we must practice self-worth. By grounding our value in what we can control, we stop obsessing over what's outside our power, leading to a more content and meaningful life. Stoicism guides us through life's challenges toward clarity and peace. And if things fall apart and we do not achieve everything we hoped for, we can still take comfort in having lived with purpose and integrity. Because ultimately, everything has its end.